Hello. Oh, wow. Thank you. I appreciate it. Calm down now.
Globally recognized.
My name's Ryan, aka Crowdson's Corner. And this is the Healing Chefs podcast. Co-host we have Taylor.
Hello, Sweet THC 2.0 on Instagram.
Everybody calm down. And today we have Allison.
Benedict, Agriculture Allison on Instagram.
Follow her, she's amazing.
Make sure you pull the mic a little closer to you, because if it sounds like you're a little far away, they can barely hear you. You want to be able to.
Is that better?
Yeah. Just make sure you speak into the mic.
Right.
It's slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Right into it.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So,
did you get us high?
Wait.
Like contact high? Because
Maybe.
I
was
was
with him before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the only decently sober one here, but your guys' energies is
Yeah, I
makes sense to
definitely.
say, yeah.
Well, I also allegedly consumed some stuff on the last podcast.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, nobody did. Yeah, I'm my own laugh track. Thanks.
Yeah.
If I laugh at my own jokes, but we're gonna go ahead and start off. It is cannabis journey.
So excited.
Yeah,
I like the nature sounds. That's very calming.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I definitely threw that together, and I really like that sound, because it reminded me of not being anywhere near people.
His transition noises are on point, well thought out and good.
Where I really want to be.
Yeah. No, I love you all.
That's why I'm doing it in an isolated area.
Yeah.
Away from the crowd.
Not in a crowd. We don't have a live audience. But real quick, could you, for our watchers, listeners, I don't know what else there would be, explain
The humans.
The AI. Shout out AI.
For sure. Hope you're
but
listening.
Yeah.
Hey, I put podcasts on for my my dog.
I watch an AI podcast. It's called Dudesy.
Friends and family.
It's pretty cool. If you could explain how you found cannabis, and then we can go to where you're at now with it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, my relationship with cannabis has been a little complicated, honestly. I definitely was a child of the DARE era and held a lot of misconceptions about cannabis consumers when I was younger.
Was it the melting lady that got you too?
She wasn't really it. It was honestly because I was like, this actually seems like a lot of fun, and I'm not the most fun naturally. I'm kind of
you just avoid fun.
Bit. No. I love joy. I just am very.
She is not a thief of joy. She just doesn't want to have too much.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm spreading it. But anyways, I really started using cannabis myself when I got hurt when I was in college. I had a really serious back injury.
Okay.
And I was prescribed opioids to help with my pain management. And I didn't find that they really worked for me. I didn't like the way it made me feel. I didn't like the lack of control that I felt when I took them. And I wanted to be able to do all the things I had been doing before I got hurt. And so I needed a way to figure out how to live with the pain that didn't cost me the rest of my life. Right. Where I felt like that was the path that I could go down.
For sure.
So then I really have used it since then as pain management. And I use it, now daily basis all day long. And even it tried to incorporate new ways to consume to help, incorporate topicals and dabs and this and that, all of it together to try to really create a cohesive effect now.
Mm-hmm.
And now I try to really spread a lot of understanding and awareness about who cannabis consumers are and who we can be, to try to unwind some of that indoctrination that happened about, that they're just lazy and all of the kind of fear that was really spread. So.
Yeah, the fear mongering that
yeah,
everybody does.
Still happens, honestly. Still happens a lot.
I literally just saw something this morning on someone's like Facebook or something. Like there's a wife going, he smokes before he does everything. Like,
and then he does the thing. So
then
who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Well,
he's
but then
like,
you
I'm
do
just
the
gonna
pill before you do the thing too, and nobody has an issue with that.
Yeah,
or let's
you
take
the
12
drink.
shots.
Yeah.
Like,
or you look at and you're watching TV and you see like it's okay to drive to go get alcohol to where you can't drive after you have said alcohol, and you fill your truck full of it, and then you go. Believe me, I love football. Roll Tide, but the
Roll Tide.
but the like having all that beer and everything, like I'm like, you guys are promoting the crime. Like they're gonna like who's gonna they're just gonna leave their truck there like after they get all wasted and stuff like that. It's not enough time. I mean, I don't know. I just see all the hypocritical things happening in the world that you're like fighting against cannabis, and now it's rescheduling it. We're
rescheduling is not decriminalizing. Everyone.
What are we doing? We're playing full Monty and stuff like that. So so you wanted to get off the you didn't want the opiates and whatnot, and found out that cannabis was a better option for you.
Yeah.
And have you do you use that flower? Or are you using like any topical
Yeah, so I mean,
we haven't even discussed that too much of like topicals and tinctures and stuff on this show yet.
I'm definitely a big fan of all of those things, and I think that that's actually a really great place for people to start when they're new. And I like to talk about that a lot and how to sort of wade into using cannabis, because if you haven't used it before, it can be overwhelming, that sense of relief, the way, just the different pathway in your brain that you start to take when you get high.
That peace of mind is anxiety causing sometimes. I get full-blown anxiety attacks when I do breathing exercises. Like that normal breathing and that relaxed state is just so unknown to me that like that's kind of the same thing with cannabis. It relaxes people and they're like, what the fuck?
They're like, I haven't felt in tune with my body in 25 years, and now I'm like can feel every sensation, and like that connection back with yourself can be really scary. But I really mostly use concentrates. I love dabs.
She's a hash maker, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, that I have done that. Woo woo. There's definitely better hash makers than me out there, but I do love it. I love the science. I love the field, and I love really great hash. So that's my main form of medication. I think concentrates in general are a little misunderstood. I think that they could help a lot more people, but it can be really scary. And I remember the first time that I took a dab, it was actually CBD isolate, because I was so afraid of what would happen if I took a THC dab. I was like, what, just that lack of experience.
That seems even scarier to me.
A CBD
dab. No, because I was a bud tender and I saw some of those brands with the CBD dabs, and I'm like, I don't know, dog. I don't know, dog.
Luckily, this was many years ago. Shout out to my boy Brian, who made that shit.
Shout out Brian.
Brian Cook. Great. He works at High Mountain Health.
I was just about to say, wait, why does that sound super familiar?
Yeah,
there we go.
He's the
Shout
shit.
out Brian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Come on, man. Where's the effects?
There we go.
My boy Brian.
Extra applause.
Come on now.
Like it was a wave. I don't know what happened in the crowd. It was pulsating. Maybe the psychedelics.
Yeah, and it was even just watching it happen. It was a torch and a rig and everything. I was like, have we left weed? Like, have we departed?
Yeah. God, that's what I thought too.
Oh, man.
I was like, I don't think I'm wading into something I really want to be right now if this is where we're headed. And that was misunderstanding. That was a lack of understanding. So again, it just comes back to trying to impart that understanding on people and to say concentrates really can help you. The process can be a little intimidating. There's a lot of really great resources and e-nails and e-rigs and stuff. Yeah. If you don't want
Puffcos.
Puffcos for sure. iSpires.
Focus B Cartas.
Yeah, there's Ola, there's Zenko, there's all kinds of really wonderful.
I'm just gonna start making up weird sounding things, and it's probably a brand.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just having a high moment. I'm like, I got a Fruzel.
That sounds fucking lit, though.
Bro. Well, I actually got a product. No, anyway.
Give me that.
Jokes. Anyway, sorry.
Cheers.
God damn it! You keep drinking. Allegedly consuming.
You're not consuming anything but something that looks like pickle juice with blueberries.
It's actually
the color is.
It's actually straight pickle juice. No, I'm just kidding. It's pineapple, tablet, and blueberries, because she found out my favorite fruit is blueberry.
Shout out Michelle Mango for the tablets and the blueberries.
Shout out the blueberries.
Shout out blueberries.
Blueberries everywhere. Thank you.
wherever you're at, dog. I want
play Ludacris Blueberry Yum Yum. Just hit that in real quick.
Yeah. Copyright infringement.
That's fine.
Grab your lighter. Let's get high. Ire. But so concentrates. I love concentrates, but here's what I've been noticing lately for myself, and I again preface everything with myself. It's not for everybody. Like, I'm looking more for like the CBG and all that kind of stuff. If we could get some sort of like concentrates with a little more full spectrum without being
with heavier
disgusting,
minors,
like you know what I mean?
Agreed.
I don't know. Like, I know that we have some really good scientists and stuff out there, and eventually they're gonna find it. But like, I know for at least with like rosin and stuff, we have all like THC and you get terps and stuff. But I really want some of those other the like CBG, CBD.
I'm gonna make you a little concoction. I got a lot of that at my house.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I feel like some of those other product categories really come in. That's where like tinctures, topicals, edibles, where you can have a more controlled dose and you can seek out those cannabinoids that you're really looking for. But I totally agree. I'm all about it. I want all of them in there, maximum amount possible.
I mean, that's why I feel so many people don't take cannabis seriously, or so many brands kind of hit a plateau of their sales, or because people aren't actually explaining any of these cannabinoids or what they do or anything like that. And there's a reason why I tell people, when I was doing vendor days before COVID, like, I would get possibly in trouble, because after I would sell out of all of the products that I was promoting, I would start talking to people about other ones. I wanted to get my full 3 hours of my vendor day. And you have to actually ask questions and listen for trigger words. If somebody says cancer, do not, for the love of God, give them a sugary CBD isolate edible. I don't know why that is a thing. If you hear somebody saying they want RSO, don't let them dab it. Like, if somebody has period pain, you have to look at those different symptoms and think which products are actually going to be helpful, not what you get an incentive on, or not something that you like. And that's kind of where I feel like that education is really important, because it could be so much more impactful.
Yeah, I mean that, and then also what you have going on with pause and whatnot like that. Can you explain?
Yeah, honestly, what Taylor's talking about, and like trying to push the education and push that understanding, create more opportunities to talk about cannabis, to ask questions in a judge-free environment. That's really what Pause is all about. We want to impart a lot of education around not just cannabis, but natural and botanical solutions in general.
Mental health, you've been posting a lot about.
Yeah, we're doing a big push right now around mental health, physical wellness, and how you can incorporate different cannabis products into your life to help you achieve those goals that you have around those things. And just to talk about in general, like really tough subjects like addiction and recovery. And when I talk about recovery, I'm not talking about just addiction recovery. I'm talking about sports recovery, physical recovery,
abusive relationship recovery,
100% psychological. Like, it's all connected. And the great thing about cannabis, and because we have such a great program with so many awesome products and brands that you can trust, you have good products that you can actually access and incorporate into your life to help with those things. So that's what we do. We talk a lot about education in that judgment-free space. We really just want to bring people together and understand that cannabis does that, and it is an inherently social plant, and the community that surrounds the plant is very social and very diverse. And we want to celebrate that diversity, both in age, race, gender, life experiences,
occupation,
everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was just thinking about, because again, even with our podcast here, there's a different lane for everybody and whatnot. You're gonna have those people that like, I kind of feel like a part of a couple different groups. Like I feel a part of like the old school, like growing up being that skater kid, and really liking like the hardcore, like this weed, and like some of the heady guys, like, and some of the best of the best, and I'm trying to find that, and some of the really really cool stuff, and more like edgy kind of area. But then like for stuff that like I want to be able to use on a day-to-day basis and everything, that's a little more approachable. There's a couple other brands that like you can come at cannabis like without even like having the like crazy like lettering and all the like the different stuff. There's
and
just be like I have my professional side, and then I have my like let's let loose and get all the crazy shit, and like you know
totally.
What I mean? So I love that everyone has those different lanes, and how that's emerging more and more.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think for me, when I think about the history of cannabis and the impact that especially like prohibition has had on a lot of people, it's about recognizing that, taking responsibility as a member of the cannabis community to acknowledge those things and to work towards dismantling the systems that allowed it to happen. You know, I think that there is absolutely like a political part of cannabis that can't be shied away from, and I'm not shy of it, and I actually feel like we should take on more responsibility and talk about it more and push more for like you know, really acknowledging that. And not that any of us as individuals were a part of it, but
we're still able to talk about it,
and we still benefit from it, you know. Even when I started selling weed when I was in college,
allegedly,
supposedly,
shout out allegedly,
yeah,
shout out catnip.
You know, I knew that there was a very real
spice,
oregano.
The real reality was that I was flying under the radar, and that people weren't looking at me and thinking of it like that, because I wasn't what was this stereotypical thing that was pushed around what that looks like. And I wasn't a part of something that was demonized, you know. But those things did happen, and they affected real people, and they affected real families. And so
I mean, and there's a reverse happening now, whereas like we all, when we were smoking weed before, like I know when I was younger, like, oh, I wish the world just smoked weed and we'd all, but now like more and more of the world is smoking weed. Like some of us are like, hey, I remember when you didn't smoke weed, and like I'm like, wait a minute.
The super religious people at my school are now all chiefing, and I'm like, I told you guys.
But then I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I wanted y'all to smoke weed, and now you're doing it in your own way, and now I'm mad at you for doing it. Like, what am I doing? I like sit back. I'm like, oh, come on, shut up.
That's not the way.
Myself,
That's
like,
not the way.
Exactly. Like so like, especially with like weed and everything. We're gonna get into this next subject real quick. Psychedelics really like sets me back and goes, hey man, what you're being weird. Quit being a weirdo.
Yeah. Totally.
Can we go ahead and get Trip Tail?
Trippy. It sounds exactly like that. Because they look pretty. Oh, there they. Hello.
He was like very bewildered.
That's kind of like the crazy ex-girlfriend meme. Like, did you just get caught?
I got, well, I mean,
when the psychedelics hit.
Psychedelics. So, I myself, like I was using them when I was going through a lot of my problems and whatnot a couple months ago, and I've slowed down since. But I've used a lot of the psychedelics to help me kind of step back and notice the cycles that I was in, and that kind of like abusive, like kind of like shitty behavior that I had like to friends and even like all a bunch of close people and stuff like that. And sometimes it's really hard to look at yourself, and that's why a lot of people avoid psychedelics. But I kind of looked at it head on, and now like I love the psychedelics, but it's just like I'm like I don't like I'm good right now.
I don't really want to learn anything else about me at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
comfortable.
it's not even that. I'm like I'm gonna get that energy going and everything, and I'm gonna be like, what the hell am I using this for? And I feel kind of wasteful and stuff like that, and I want to use it for like I'm getting older.
Intentional
I think intention is important when it comes to psychedelics, and headspace is really important before you go into that at all in any level.
Set and setting.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up thinking you're a Dorito and then feeling like you got broke when you went around the corner. So that wasn't my personal experience, but it was a friend's.
I would, man, that would bring on all sorts of shit. It'd be like, I'm a Dorito? Am I a cannibal now? Like,
am I a cannibal now?
We're all in different kind of containers, man. That hit me one time when I was with my cousins out. They're like, are you good? I was just sitting there staring at the fish tank, and I'm like, they're in their box, man. We're in a box, man. The dog has a box, man.
I've been in that one too. Yep.
We all go to work and we're in a box. It's all about boxes and we're all in boxes.
Fucking rectangles.
And then I'm like,
I've been in that one too. Mm-hmm.
And then
my friend was in the box on FaceTime.
They're like, you good? I'm like, no, yeah, I'm good. But yeah, no, we're all in boxes.
You guys want to build a box for it?
I'm like, okay, let's go outside, huh?
Yeah. Nature's cool,
so
right?
you need to, like, as much as I joke and have fun with these things, like psychedelics can be very serious. Like, you need to handle these things with
be responsible.
Kids don't say kid gloves.
No kids, please.
No
please,
kids.
No kids.
But I'm talking about you need to handle it lightly and not just like dive deep in, maybe just and have a guide maybe, or
kiddish
babysit, like that's
a reason for intentional setting. Well, like either having fun and creativeness, or if you feel like you're in a little bit more of an immature mindset, I feel like psychedelics are a really good way to kind of have that mirror and sit and see what makes you stay in those mindsets. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've seen a lot lately. Even with myself, I get like Arrested Development. Not the show.
I haven't watched.
Oh, I was
like I have no frame of reference.
Correlating?
So
that's why I was like, hold on.
Not the show. Not the show.
Apparently that was not it.
Arrested Development just means like you stop like at a certain like mindset. You
like
stop.
Plateauing?
Yeah. And you don't move past it. And that's what Arrested Development is. Like, you're not.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of what I was in. I was in this like teenage kind of a mindset, because I kind of like a lot of trauma because I was in the army and stuff at a certain time. And I think I just locked onto, I'm going to always be like a teenager or something like that.
Yeah.
And working through the things I did with psychedelics lately, like I'm not even the same person, same mindset anymore, because I just had to work through that kind of shit. And like now, if I do it, I feel like I'm just like getting high.
Yeah, I think moderation with anything. Yeah. Moderation is key. I think with psychedelics especially, it's not. I have found that daily use is not necessarily the best.
Yeah, no.
Place. Even with microdosing, it's not really. I feel like it after a period of time is hurtful and not helpful, at least for me. And so I am as passionate about mushrooms and psychedelics as I am cannabis, and I think that it is a wonderful tool. I'm really happy to see how quickly it has been accepted. Mm-hmm. I do feel like socially it has had a faster journey than what I've seen with cannabis.
Yeah.
And that like everyone is all into it, and functional mushrooms is such a hot topic of conversation.
Mushroom
and
tea, mushroom
everything,
this,
mushroom anything. And like even mushroom wares and like all of the like cute accoutrements that come with like that kind of mushroom culture.
Yeah. Like I like all the embroidered and all the
everything.
That's why I say even my son wants to have like the little like frogs with like the red toadstool mushrooms everywhere, and I'm like, I was trying to get you to stay away from being like an obvious like hippie kid, but all right, that's cool.
Yeah, my hippie kid was mushroom hunting. She found a bunch of stuff. That's for real. That happened.
So we need to take mine soon.
Yeah,
we
so
will. We totally
we need to
can.
figure this out, because then eventually we can like make because that's another thing that's coming around the corner.
Well,
I think
clinical trials are legal here.
Is the legalization or the I don't even know what they would do with it. Again, maybe make medical mushrooms. I don't really know.
I think,
but I kind of ready for that, because I want to be able to pick different strains and stuff like that, and know it's a little cleaner and whatnot. But because like for what you can find, for the most part, you get kind of like, it is what it. We're back to when we were kids. We were back when we were kids, when we had weed. It is what it is, and you get what you get. And I want to be able to, like, because I went to Amsterdam when I was in the army, and I got to like pick and stuff, so I think I got a little spoiled.
Yeah. I understand. Honestly, I do wish that there was the same framework of access with mushrooms as there has been with cannabis.
Yeah.
I don't know if the dispensary model exactly applies, or that licensing structure exactly applies, but I do think that there should be a mechanism to find trusted, reliable products through a regulatory framework that everyone has agreed to, that keeps people safe and has certain checks and balances. I think that is good.
I think that's super important, for sure, because with mushrooms, we've all had a bad trip.
Oh, for sure.
So I think if we go into legalizing mushrooms medicinally or recreationally the same way we have with cannabis, there's going to be a lot of bad things that happen, because people are going to be like, oh, I mean, it's just some shrooms. I did like a 0.5 gram of some penis envy the other day. Let me just take, an eighth this time. And okay, buddy, you did not prepare yourself on that one. So I think there needs to be a lot more. Yeah.
And you have to be educated too, because like even
education is important.
Yeah. Even I allegedly have made like all sorts of different things, allegedly chocolate bars and stuff, and one time allegedly
#allegedly
all of it allegedly. Shout out to allegedly.
This is all fictional, guys. We're lying.
This is satire.
We're just storytellers.
This is satire. Allegedly there was a time where there was a milkshake made, and
bring the boys to the yard.
it was left in like the freezer for like a while, and then finally it was like, okay, now I feel like it's the time that this is okay to do this. But what people don't understand is I had to let it sit out and like allegedly come to like a temperature where it was movable and everything. But what happens is, and I've learned and I've seen and read some stuff, and the cold extract, especially with I didn't just have it was like some sort of frozen yogurt or something like that, so it had probiotics in it. And so that on top of the cold extract like pulled like 90%, almost to like 100% of said psilocybin, instead of just like eating the shit or whatever. So it went like I was eventually in my bed like curled up going, this nope.
Can this be done, please?
So you got to be careful, because you think you have a high tolerance, and then one time you have to just lay in bed and go, nope.
You get humbled. Everybody has gotten humbled at least once.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it doesn't matter how, whatever, it hits you sometimes. So
sometimes you just accidentally
gotta unlock it,
yeah. But
there's no undoing for shrooms either.
No, it is all about moving through. That is the whole. I think whatever the dose is, the experience is usually, just for me, it's about kind of unlocking something and moving through that. And where those bad trips or those like thoughts start to come out is when you're trying to hold on and you're trying to control it, and you're trying to say, no, I don't want to. It's too scary. It's too hard to.
Or when you do it socially and you're like, this is not the time to have my mental awareness. And then you're just having a bad time.
The social time is not for me. Like, I'm more like nature on a canoe, like in a reservoir somewhere.
Yeah. What I did to myself was I had like visions of myself in a psych ward, like I needed it or something. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Months later, I have a nervous breakdown and I take myself. So I'm like, oh shit.
It was just trying to future you.
It was foreshadowing.
I think it wasn't just showing me the future. I think it was something subconsciously. It's like, I need to go and do this shit. But I was just so afraid to like, this is why like we talk about these things. And we'll go into like a break here in a second. But with the mental health and everything is like being okay to talk about this stuff, because if I didn't go get any help, like what you would have thought, like people would be like, way to go, you did it by yourself. Like it wouldn't have happened.
And shout out to you for being transparent and honest and making sure that mental health is a topic you do on every single episode, because it isn't talked about.
Yeah, no,
it's super important.
And most people probably, like, there's probably a bunch of people that like, as soon as they hear that I like check myself into, like, because of my PTSD and whatnot, probably like judge me or something like that. And,
no way.
And that
you have bigger cojones than anybody else.
That tells me more about them than it does about me.
I'm
just happy to be able to share this with people so they don't feel as alone, and they feel like they can kind of relate. And that's why we have so many different guests and whatnot. So someone will be able to find at least one episode that someone can relate to, and I hope we like reach somebody. And we have already started reaching people, so that's great. But we're going to go ahead and go into a break real quick, and then we'll jump into the mental health as well.
Love it.
So.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Aisha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
You got my back, baby.
And we're back. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. Like...
Lions don't got to tell you they're lions because they're fluffy and cute. That's the rest of that
quote. And anyhow, we'll go ahead and mental health as well. I don't know why. Nope. I want to hear that like right in the movie theater, right before a movie starts. I'm like, oh, I can
then
relax.
Have to go to the bathroom.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, maybe not. Except for it's always like right before, like, so we're talking mental health is wealth now. I have PTSD. Like going into a movie theater, as soon as they start, it's like boom. Yeah. I'm like, all right, we're good. I'm ready. I'm like, I came to watch a movie.
I haven't been to the movie theater in fucking years.
I've been trying more and more lately to like, when T-Mobile has like a $5 movie, like whatever, I'll try to go, because my anxiety, like usually I can't go anywhere by myself, but I'll try to go to a movie or something and try to break that a little bit. But
you just made my hands so sweaty just even thinking about that. I'm like, oh hell no.
But I just like, I would just wake up and I'm like, all right, here we go, and just go do it and try to and fight through that whole like I'm really like showing them my phone, but really inside I'm going,
Wait, am I doing this right? Did I give you the right ticket? Like,
I think that's a good point, honestly, about like sometimes how mental health can kind of show up and how people even deal with it, because a lot of the times it's like you're kind of faking it. You're sort of saying,
the shit out of it.
Yeah, you're like, I am not doing good. I'm not okay. Like But I'm still going to push. I'm going to try. I'm going to do it in something that feels like I can exit if it gets to be too much and there's no low stakes,
Yeah,
but it's still
it's a movie theater. I'm just like, okay, the door's like,
the door's closed. And like, if it's overwhelming, you can leave though. And there's no one stopping you and there's no, especially if you go by yourself, you're like, damn, no one even cares. I can just jet out of here.
Just go through the matinee times,
Yeah, no, that I would like, one of the things that I would do, but was just like, I mean, with different times of day is basically like lunchtime or something like that. Because I'm like, who the hell's, like during the week, I'm like, who the hell's going right then? And I'm like, and I would definitely like, I would pick the the seat, and if there was too many people, I'd refund it. And I'm like, all right, I'll go another day. So I had like a limit of like how many people could be around me.
I mean, that's very valid though, because everybody's energies are so different, and people have been wild lately. Like,
I don't know, like I don't know, especially with the pandemic and everything. That's another thing that we got to work through. Where they kind of made it to where like people are like, just like don't want to like be near anybody else, strangers.
Thankfully, finally, I've been waiting.
I do think the little extra physical space is good, because sometimes people will be like right up on you and you're like, whoa, this is a little too close.
That's Germany. I lived in Germany for a while.
Europe in general,
they have like, no idea. Close. But there's so much space. Like I don't
everywhere, but then they're all this.
Like the city. Like I love them because they preserve nature and whatnot. But like the city is just like smashed into each other, and then they all like stand onto each other. And oh man, and I love them all, but like it's just like they don't have like when you come back to the States, you like get in a parking lot and you just start driving around. You're like, there's so much space.
You're like, these are extra wide spots.
Yeah, the first time you start parking diagonal and stuff like an asshole.
First time I saw smart cars was in Germany, and I was like, what the fuck are these? Oh, yeah. It was before they were here, and I was like, why is everything teeny tiny?
Me and a chief in the army. Well, it was our section. It wasn't me, but it was our guys that almost flipped a smart car.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's some army stuff when they're drinking. Like,
it's but like the owner cart.
The owner came out, and they were strong, and they were like, had it up, and then the owner.
They were cow tipping smart cars. I thought you meant inside of it.
We were wild. He was also punching the cigarette machines, which don't budge. Destroyed.
They're like, we've tested these for punching.
Can you guys explain to me how alcohol is safer?
This is what I'm talking. Yeah, mental health. Mental health. We're talking mental health here, and this is the that we were doing. So like, so obviously there was something wrong back in the day, but no one really wanted to help the veterans because they're like, oh, that would be crazy. But nowadays, I'm kind of glad I like as soon as I have something with the VA, like I make myself heard. And it happens instead of there's many that, and I hope they get their decisions and stuff soon, but that get left behind because they kind of like leave it up there and just kind of leave it for them. And I'm like, nah,
well, so many people are taught that.
Yeah.
They're taught to just.
I'm gonna be like on your shit. Like a lot of people know I can be annoying.
I mean, stand up for what's right. Like my parents would always say, if I ever see you or hear of you in a situation where there was an underdog or somebody was being bullied or they brought something to attention and they were just getting ignored and you don't stand up for them, like you're gonna be in trouble. Like even if it makes you, unpopular or whatever the case is, like do what is right. And when it comes to benefits and stuff like that, people need advocates. Oh my Lanta.
Oh man, there's a saying I just heard. If you ever see me in a fight with the bear, pray for the bear. I promise you. But yeah, so like that's like, and that's the thing with cannabis that's helped me. Like there's like I'm also noticing as I feel like I'm maturing more and myself that I don't need to be high all the time. Like I mean, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I don't there's plenty of people that can get higher than me, that can smoke more than me and do all that kind of stuff. And especially with my lungs, with the army messing that up with the burn pits and whatnot. But like, I'm not trying to prove myself anymore. So like,
I don't want to watch my money burn.
That, and I have so many other priorities and stuff. And there's just times where I don't need to like be high and stuff. And I'm noticing more like I'd rather just do work and everything absolutely sober. Like some people need it to go out throughout the day, but like I think for me it's more of like a hindrance. I'm more thinking about like other shit I could be doing and stuff like that, and I kind of start trying to multitask too much, and I'd rather just focus. So
I think that's kind of
but it's a balance for some people.
Exactly, that's what I was kind of gonna say is that especially with like mental health and mental wellness, using cannabis to kind of check in with yourself and make sure that you're not using it as a crutch and not using it as a way to escape from something, that it is actually just benefiting and it's supposed to be a facilitation of that betterment, but overuse is not the pathway to that.
Too much of anything is too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to set and setting, like in not every place is the right place to be doing all that, like whether it's getting high or anything else. It's all about, kind of different vibes.
What works for you, and that's that thing that goes with mental health and whatnot.
Is that self-control and like therapy. The ability, to control the impulsive outbursts or the impulsive like coping mechanisms that aren't so healthy. I feel like a lot of people who have come over to cannabis for the mental health side of things did use alcohol as like the vast majority to kind of not cope with their skill or their traumas, but get away from them. And then once they were in a place to kind of be honest with themselves more, I think when they started using cannabis, it kind of goes down in the alcohol use and a little bit up in the cannabis use, because they're realizing like, hey, I'm capable of, handling these things, and I found something that I'm able to function while still dealing with this.
Yeah, and I think even with psychedelics too, it's really about using it as that, self-reflection, and not as a way to numb yourself and hide from whatever it is that you really do need to just address, and get through and get to the other side and try to go through that kind of.
Speaking of self-reflection, how do you handle when you do have these moments where you're like, oh shit, maybe this is something I need to work on, or maybe this is something that I've been kind of avoiding in myself? When you do have those moments, how do you handle that uncomfortable like situation with yourself?
Yeah, I personally, I just try to lean into the discomfort. And I have this little mantra of like, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because when I'm comfortable, that means that I'm not doing the best that I could possibly be doing. That doesn't mean that
growing
I'm
pains
pushing myself. Yeah. So I try to really lean into it, and I really do try to be very self-reflective, always see how I've contributed to a situation, how I could approach it differently, and try to take all the lessons that might be baked into whatever it is that I'm going through, whether that's professionally or personally, relationships, anything. Like I just try to like lean into that, but it's fucking hard.
See kind of what triggered you and hone in on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, why did I react that way? And some of it's maturity too, just time, in the sea, and like getting to know myself better, feeling more assured of myself. But saying like, yeah, maybe I didn't handle that the best, or like maybe I reacted like that because of all this other shit that I've been through that person doesn't even know about, and now I'm attacking them about things they have no fucking say in happening to me.
I've been there so much. I'm really like, I'm yelling at you about something, but I'm really yelling at you about some shit that I got going on over here.
It's that emotional punching bag.
It's like I'm grieving something, maybe, like that. I think that's a really hard emotion, and not one that easily leaves you. And I think people think of grief as this thing that you can like let go of, but I'm not so sure about that. I think it's something that you always kind of hold. It leaves a permanent mark.
I feel like what you're saying, especially with the psychedelics and stuff, it shows like it forces you to kind of face these things, but then that in itself starts to become one. If you do it multiple times and stuff, just like anything becomes repetition, then it becomes something that you are. And then like for myself, like I've already learned kind of how to face the things that I've already been avoiding subconsciously. And I know how to address them now. So I don't really need the psychedelics to do that. And I even like was trying to like see if it was helping anymore, but I'm like, it's really just the same thing, but I feel a little different. So I don't even need to like adjust my like I don't need to be high.
That's like going back and reading that same book a bunch of times and just getting a little bit of a different take from it every time.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, that's definitely some shit I do. I love books.
Right?
What we got going?
Pay It Forward is probably one of my
44.
favorite books.
Oh
Okay,
my God,
cool.
I have so many favorites.
Yeah, and then like going to like therapy and stuff like that continuously helps out.
Therapy is lit.
And I know that they talk about this a lot, and but if your therapist and you don't get along, even after a certain point in time, you change your therapist. Like
You
I
have
really
to
like
vibe with
mine.
them.
Like I've been kind of like I need to like make sure. I missed last week, but I had something to do. It was last minute, but we took care of it.
Hell yeah, we did. You fucking crushed that.
Yeah. So
shout out to Ryan.
Shout out to me real quick.
Yep, he's amazing.
Oh, hey, thank you very much.
Pulled fucking through. Yep.
So no, it's not. They needed a chef to like make sandwiches, and I am like, I can make a sandwich.
You can make a damn good
Like,
sandwich,
I got
baby.
this.
Yeah, and I cut some fruit and put it on plates. I mean, you know.
The conversation was, hey, I know it's not even 8 a.m. yet, but I think perhaps it would be better if you came here and did this rather than me. And you fucking did that.
Nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know where I was going with anything anymore, but
Therapy.
Find
what you like.
Yeah, I really like my therapist and stuff like that. And for the most part, if you like haven't noticed, I like to talk a lot.
What?
I just basically go in there and like word vomit for like 45 minutes and just kind of sit there and go, okay. And she kind of tests me here and there and asks me questions, but it's really just me like having someone to vent to most of the time.
Yeah, like cathartic almost. Yeah. I think that one.
It's a big word I don't understand.
Oh, sorry. I like Scrabble.
No, you. Hey, for people like me, Google it.
I was just about to say.
I was like, I don't know.
Cathartic is like relaxing.
It's like
kind of like
it's a hard emotion, and it's like this release from something going through that like difficult and being able to.
It's like an emotional pimple popping.
Yeah, that is such a fucking great way to explain it, because it's like kind of satisfying. It kind of hurts. There's some blood involved.
Yep, that's true. Mm-hmm. There's some icky shit that comes out occasionally, but you look better after, and you feel better.
Yeah, and I think like
for sure, I like that.
The therapist, like going to therapy, like I feel like more people should do that. Their world would probably be a kinder, more empathetic, more understanding place if people were willing to be more in tune with themselves and not feel like they had to put up walls.
And you don't have to have a massive event to go to therapy. Even if everything is totally fine, like you're not supposed to have any pain. You're not supposed to have anxiety. You're supposed to be woosad, and people don't get that. So even if you're high stressed at your job and you're a parent, go to therapy. There's better ways of coping mechanisms, or maybe, and people don't get all those different solutions that can come out of it. Even learning how to have difficult conversations or constructive criticisms, or finding ways to kind of like balance yourself back if you're getting, triggered. And there's so many helpful things that I think people just assume therapy is only for the chicks with purple hair who, have a lot of tattoos and, all that stuff. But we're all a little fucked up.
Green hair.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for how much more
I'm a veteran.
it is.
I didn't get a haircut.
It's okay.
No, I know. I'm
Supercuts is closed.
This is all
Sundays.
comedy. I'm not mad. It's not that big of a deal.
I think like it also.
That's why your hair is green.
Is like that deep listening too, and a lot of us don't have people in our lives that we can have that kind of judgment-free space, and not everyone has practiced listening in a way that they can really
process it,
what you're saying, without making it about themselves, because a lot of people use that mirroring technique to try to find understanding, and there's other ways to understand what someone's going through even without it being your own experience. So I think like if you don't have that listening ear and you don't have that kind of non-judgmental space, therapy is a great place to look for that.
Listen to understand, not to respond.
And there's different like seasons of our lives that we go through. So like like at first I feel like I needed someone just to like me to word vomit to, but like now I need someone more to be like a little more challenging.
like guide me or
to like,
you know.
I'm telling you a bunch of stuff, but like challenge, like you're just agreeing with a lot of what I'm saying, and I'm starting to look back and go, these aren't really good ideas. Like I was having,
I think maybe you weren't as honest with me.
I'm like, and she's good. She's a good therapist, but I think I kind of like laid out a foundation of kind of like what I thought I wanted, but now that's changing. So that's something that I have to discuss with my therapist and whatnot like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's sort of like resetting what that treatment goals are and coming back to that. And it can change. Like what you first went for doesn't have to be that anymore. It can be something totally different. Like even if it's stuff like you were talking about, like those executive functions, like, hey, I'm just like really disorganized and I can't ever fucking be on time. And like, I don't know what my deal is. Like,
and all my friends are just telling me to set timers, but that does not work for me. So you're a professional. Please help.
Yeah. And those are things that can help you just
I set a timer and then I'll set another timer.
Yep. I'm like snooze, repeat.
I think
I'm like, I need like 3 more hours. I don't know.
I'm like, wait, 7 hours have passed? Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we should work on that.
I do have one thing before, if we were about to switch over, because this is something I've been bringing up a lot. I want to kind of open up the conversation to what are your guys's, I guess, best advice for how do you kind of calm yourself down in a situation in like a public scenario where you're not, you know, at home in your room by yourself and you can fucking lose it on your own. But if you're in a public scenario and someone, you know, upsets you or you get triggered, some PTSD comes up or something like that, what's a good way that you guys have found that have kind of been able to help you ground yourself? Because that's something I have finally started learning, and that was hard.
So for myself, I have a hard time going out anywhere nowadays. So if I have any sort of weird feeling and people have been around me, I am out. I don't.
You just immediately remove yourself?
I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. I gotta go because it's not gonna get any better. I'm gonna go home or I'm gonna go somewhere else where I can get calm and quiet and everything like that, because I know how I escalate into things and everything. And I like, if I am uncomfortable, I'm out. Like I am not at a point in my life where I feel like I can control all of those things
and be able to stay in a triggering environment.
Yeah, because I already have issues with being in loud places, being a veteran with PTSD. So that I'm already on edge. And then if I feel like some sort of weird vibe from somebody or something like that, I'm like, oh, no. No. We don't.
I should have listened to
that. And I'm also again, I'm a veteran. So like one of the big things like we would have even on like, especially for like these long weekends, like we have Labor Day, like right now, we would have a safety briefing before, and it's all about risk assessment. If I ever feel like there's something where it's risky and I don't like the situation, I remove myself immediately because I trust my instinct.
You guys, if you guys did not know this, if no one told you, you're allowed to leave any scenario.
Fucking leave.
I just learned this last year. You can fucking leave wherever you want. Unless you're in jail, then you're kind of detained. But fucking any other scenario, do not mind other people's emotions or feelings. If you don't want to be there, leave. I wish somebody would have done that into my head, years ago.
No, like that's one of the things that I started this podcast saying. Like, I wish I could have learned years ago how to let my friends compete. Like, it was not even compete. Like, let my friends collab. Let my friend promote their shit. Help them promote their shit. Don't be an asshole. Don't be like fighting and like all the time with and trying to like be insecure with like I needed to learn just to like let shit go.
Yeah.
Like, and for the most part, it's a fugazi. It never lands. It's never real. You know what I mean? Like it's just bullshit.
Honestly, I'm the exact same way. Like if I'm in a situation and I know I either already am experiencing a flood of emotions or I am uncomfortable with what's happening in any way, I absolutely leave. I have no shame about it. I am like that Homer Simpson fucking gif where he like hides into the hedge. That is me. I say bye to nobody. I'm out. I will be fucking gone.
Yeah.
And I have no shame about it. I'm known for it even a little bit because I'm like, I can't handle it. I'm out.
Yeah. Like, and
I think that's so important that
it's-
both of you guys said that because, like I said, I did not fucking know that. I'd
and
be
what I
sitting there,
learned
like,
is that's boundaries.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
you
not
can
being
set up
rude.
boundaries and stuff like that. Like, I don't like just because someone else is okay with doing something doesn't mean like I have to conform to how you manage your life. Like,
right.
Yeah.
if I don't feel comfortable, I'm out.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I don't feel comfortable a lot lately. So
Same.
I'm not out. Like,
yeah,
so.
yeah, and it's like I do try to just like remove myself as well, like even if it's just an individual but I feel really happy with where I'm at, I just am like, hey, I'm not going to have this conversation with you, not the right time or whatever it is. I just deflect, like create space. I think like again to pause, like in the name of the company, like I just try to like take my moment to say, what do I want to do?
Take time.
What's my next move that's going to make me feel better in this situation?
Yeah. Just take like time too. Just like letting it like just sit there. Like your perspective, like it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Like we get into these like things with like people or companies that you get mad at for like anything, and you get into like this kind of battle, but it's just like you're like two hurt people yelling that you're hurt at each other, and it's never gonna get anywhere. So like if you just sit back and relax for a little while and change your perspective, you realize like, oh, they're hurting, I'm hurting, like this isn't going anywhere. Like just let it go, let them do whatever they're gonna do. I'm gonna do whatever I do. And in the scheme of shit, when you like you elevate yourself to that, like none of that shit matters. Like I said to someone recently, like people can call me whatever, like from my past or whatever, you can call me whatever names you want me to, but I only answer to my name.
Yeah, well, that was a good one.
And
that was nice.
Low vibration shit I don't answer to no more.
Yeah.
So do what you're gonna do. But I mean, I'm not.
Honestly, if anyone's talking bad, it's because of something that they haven't dealt with. So I never try to speak ill. I never try to put a negative message out there. And if people are like, I'm just like, honestly, I'm hoping that you can heal. Like I'm hoping that love finds you, because the hate that you're spewing is not really for me, and I'm not accepting it. Like
because I did it a whole bunch. Like not just like a couple of years ago, I did it a whole bunch, and I'm going around now apologizing to people and stuff. Like,
I think that accountability is really awesome too, because you don't have to fucking do that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I feel bad for the way I treated people, and I've learned a lot, and I've been trying to making my rounds and like making my apologies and stuff. So, like at the end of the day, there's a lane for everybody and all sorts of stuff, and like we all need to heal in our own ways. So like sometimes the arguments aren't even about the arguments. So
well, even those PTSD triggers too, though, is like going places, and if you have an anxiety attack or a flashback when there's so many people, sometimes you aren't able to express that. So just being able to hear too that like just fucking leave, like you're okay. Just having that consistently like rammed into your brain. I don't owe anybody explanations,
and that needs to
like,
be okay too. Like if you just feel uncomfortable and you just leave, it needs to be okay. And people need to like, because I've been looked at weird even lately because like I felt uncomfortable and I just left, and I'm just like, look, but then it changed. It changed something. It changed something, and then it sucks.
Instead of asking you why you left, it's they're rude or whatever the case is.
Or
and
I'm just like a crazy person and not, I just didn't feel
judgmental.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
So,
I think that Irish goodbye is something
save you a lot of time too.
I've been practicing that a lot the last year and a half, just up and leaving, because before I would literally just go sit in my car and be like, they're going to be so pissed. There's going to be repercussions, whatever the case was. Like, at least I could sit in my car and then I'll leave. We
can't all grow if we don't accept the differences in between us.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, we're all the same. Like on the inside, we're all like the same and stuff like that. Like, but like just.
But the little nuances, and honestly, for me, those differences are our strengths.
Yeah.
It is what makes us like such a beautiful humanity and such a beautiful kind of woven fabric of individualism, creating a collective. And I think those differences are kind of the things that make us the strongest.
That's what makes us
so
human.
much more, things to learn because I sure shit don't know everything. I barely know anything. Like,
no, we're all learning. We're all
know?
learning together right now.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a learning process, and that's why like I put on my like just before we go into the plug thing, and like I put on my story like today. It's when I'm friends with you or I'm down for you, like good or bad, I'm here for you because like I went through so much shit and like I wish someone would have like stuck around and just like talked to me and shit, like worked it out. But I didn't have that, so I like to be that for other people and stuff like now. So we can have that growing on in the future, and maybe if I help this person, they can help somebody and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because that's all I want to do. Because it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be hurt, but it's okay to ask for help. So,
love it.
With that, let's go ahead into the plug talk.
My plug.
That one kind of looks like Rick and Morty a little bit with like the pictures that I ended up
you should put a pickle
borrowing indefinitely. I use different apps and stuff because we don't have all the pro stuff, but like I know how to use the free stuff and layer and shit like that.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's worked out. But plug talk is just real quick. We'll just plug anything that you have to like promotions.
Oh man, I got some stuff I want to show.
I'm so excited.
So I brought some of the Pause merchandise that we just launched. The first thing I'm going to start with is this really awesome bag. This is the perfect bag for any cannabis consumer that also has shit going on in their life because it's a highly functional piece. As I go through it, I'm going to pull.
Can you smoke it?
You can't smoke that,
consumables.
but you can. It can hold functional. All the things,
and it's insulated. If you didn't know that, also
it's so cool. So this does not have a magical like extending charm. It just actually holds all this shit. So we do have cones and stuff that I'll show us in a second. I want to show a few different ones. Sorry, try to talk into the mic. That makes it easier for people to hear you. So yes, this is a real Mary Poppins bag. We did a beautiful liner on the inside that we had designed by Chris Stevenson. Oh, hold on.
Let me see.
I'm like, here.
Wait.
Yep.
Wait, can you get that?
And then get the little tag on the front. It says Pause for Pause Consumption.
Yeah, thanks, Tay.
Yeah, this is Allison's collab, by the way.
Well, this is like
it's vegan leather, so the quality was really important.
See, I don't know shit. I'm like, it's designer, dog.
It is designed by a very, very well-known purse designer as well.
Oh,
yes, it is. And this is a collab with Sac de Fleurs. I want to plug them because they are badass. I partnered with them on this. They helped me really like in creating the custom elements that we did. And then thinking about like that cannabis consumer and the functionality that we're really looking for.
Yeah.
So there is a fucking huge pocket in here that is smell proof. And it comes with your own little TSA approved lock. And
don't steal my medicine, TSA.
Yeah, use at your own risk, right? Like allegedly.
Allegedly.
There is this lovely thing on the side, this pocket that you can put a cold pack in. So if you have concentrates or you have edibles or anything like that that's in your bag, you're going to be able to keep that quality while you're on the go.
Isn't that fucking awesome?
Yes.
And
again, because of the functionality, there's so many different ways that you can hold this. You can have it be over the shoulder. You can wear it as a backpack. And you can just like hold it like that, like a briefcase. So there's so many different ways, no matter where you're going, how you're getting there.
That's dope.
So the bag is really like the crown jewel of our merch line. And we're so excited to be partnering with Sac de Fleurs.
Sac de Fleurs. It's
how much is the bag?
The retail on this is $175.
Okay.
So for the quality and everything, we do feel like we're very competitive. Even without the function, we definitely fall under where a bag of this quality would usually retail.
For sure.
And we're trying to make it accessible to people in that way.
And it's SACDEFLEURS.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
On Instagram.
And there's a little tag here on the side that shows that. And some other little hardware pieces on this bag that call out our collab with them. Another cool thing that we did is this huge dab mat.
That's dope.
Every dab mat that I've gotten in my life has been way too small.
Yep. Yeah, they're like this big.
They're like, and I felt like they kept getting smaller and smaller. And I was like, I need room for my whole setup. I want to have my rig. I want to have multiple grams.
Not just 1 gram on your little small thing.
And
small dab mats lead to oil all over the place.
All over the place, and it's a mess. This, you can like dump alcohol on it and just no big deal. You won't have any fading or anything. Made it super, super
only when you
thin.
smoke. Fading. So.
Yeah, that's the only faded we like.
Depends.
Made it super thin because you don't want to lose your favorite rig to some piece of silicone. That's insane. So, there's no edge here that your thing is falling off of and making your day the worst day ever. So, yeah.
Seems like a personal thing that you might have been through.
Maybe I had someone's stupid ass, small ass dab mat ruin my shit. So I made things
shout
better.
out to whoever, traumatized
Don't
her.
make bad quality stuff.
Socks.
We also did 2 different pairs of socks. People might be asking, why did, as a brand that's promoting cannabis consumption, why did we do socks? It has a lot to do with our Highs for Humanity campaign that we're running right now. We're doing a toiletry drive where we're collecting different most needed toiletry items, everything from toothbrush, toothpaste, hair combs, wipes, Ziploc bags.
For a second,
really
I thought you were just
anything.
saying hair.
No, hair.
We just got bags of hair.
Bags of hair. Please donate bags of hair.
Give us your lax, baby.
Balding homeless. We're collecting toiletries for the homeless community, and socks.
This is serious.
This
is great.
Very incredible, the amount of relief and dignity and humanity and care that someone can feel from a brand new pair of socks. So we went really high quality on that. That's part of the reason that we launched that as part of our wearables side of our line. And along that same line, we did a cooling towel.
Yes.
It is hot here. It's always hot here. And regardless of if you are on the streets unsheltered or you are on the golf course, you need something that can provide you Mudcella. And a cool rag on the back of the neck is
those are
awesome to bring you back from death.
So great. Yeah, no. Yeah, my pictures of my dad way back in the day with the old ones with like the big like the gel in them and everything.
Oh, yeah.
He used to have so many, and he used to think it was so cool with his little.
I'm pretty sure my dad still has those.
Gosh.
With that one hat, that kind of like goes.
Yeah, they all wore the same hat.
Yep.
That's so cool. And then the last thing is our cones.
Nice.
So they come as case packs. You can buy them as a case. We also sell singles. They will show, if you buy a case, it'll show up wrapped like this. This box, which is the case box, if it was at a smoke shop or something like that, it can be actually ripped off the top for merchandising at the store. And you can also buy a single pack. So in a pack, you have 3 cones. And they already have crutches and everything. And part of the reason that I decided to do cones versus papers is, again, because I'm trying to promote new consumers and access to consumption. And I think starting people off with flower is a great way, but not everyone knows how to roll. And I think when you're trying to introduce someone to something as complex as cannabis, also teaching them how to effectively roll joints is a big ask. So really great.
I still use cones.
Yeah, I love cones, honestly.
We all know I can't roll that well.
I'm not trying to.
I mean, I roll blunts like if it's like a full eighth, like it's decent.
See, that's
but like
the thing
when
that
it's like not it's not like an eighth or so, it kind of comes out a little
wonky. Yeah. And it's like that's the other thing is like sometimes people might feel
I don't know when I'm doing that.
Yeah, they might feel self-conscious about how they roll, how it looks, if it's lumpy or whatever.
Are you saying that stoners talk shit to each other when they roll weird looking things?
Oh man,
they might put you on blast.
All my pregnant snakes I've rolled.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I've rolled some stupid stuff.
Yeah, but I definitely have too.
It's okay. Yeah.
So I figure this is a great way to get people introduced to it, where they're not going to have to embarrass themselves as much.
Much. I love that.
And did you have anything else coming up? Or
so the big thing is we have a couple of places where you'll be able to find us as our pop-up lounge,
which is compliant.
Yes, very compliant. I take compliance very seriously. We take safety not only during our events, but as part of the before and after of how we prepare and do events in general. So we are buttoned up in how we do things. And that is very much, I will always be like that.
She has my seal of approval. I love this woman.
So you can find us at Friday High Day After Dark on September 15th. That's being hosted by Plant Body Soul. It's going to be an awesome event. It's going to be down at Warehouse 215. And we'll have a pop-up lounge there. We will have some of our merchandise available for sale, but this is already available on our website, pauseconsumption.com. And then our next event that we are hosting is going to be on November 4th. It is the culmination of our Highs for Humanity campaign.
Awesome.
So we're going to be doing the donation drive until the end of October. We have business partners at our collection that we'll be making announcements about here shortly.
Okay, where people can drop
off. But then on the
4th, we'll try to get, when you give that information, we'll try to help.
Send it to you.
We'll try to put that in.
Yeah, because there's going to be some really great dispensary and business partners that are participating. And then on November 4th, it's going to be a volunteer consumption event, where people will take everything that we have collected, and there'll be an assembly line style set up in the middle of the space where we'll be packaging all of those items into care packages that will be given to Tom's Palms, a not-for-profit that supports the unsheltered year-round.
Oh, nice.
So we're just gifting those to them, but at the event, we'll be packaging everything up. There'll be a Pause Consumption Lounge. We'll have our brand partners that'll be there showcasing. Nice. We always do a nail bar. It's a little unique to Pause events. It's our dab bar, but we call it a nail bar because of the different e-nails and the different education focus that we have. Plus, we love the ladies, and getting your nails done is killer. So
yeah, we all know with the nails and everything. There's nothing but quality over there.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And we always do a letter writing station. The audience for our letters changes. So for Highs for Humanity, we're going to be including those letters in the care packages and those positive words to go along with the actual resources that they need to hopefully increase the kind of uplifting effects. So,
nice.
Yeah, that'll be on November 4th. And that'll be actually at the Plant Body Soul headquarters in downtown Phoenix.
There you go. Make sure you guys go back. Make sure you go through all these different things, and if you really want to tap in, can you tell them your Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and
at Pause Consumption, and we do have links in our bio to where you can get more information about Friday High Day After Dark and Highs for Humanity, and you can actually access our merch shop from there too.
Awesome.
So yeah,
and
Pause Consumption.
Make sure you hit her up if you guys need a compliant pop-up lounge as well.
Yes.
You don't need to rent out a whole venue and everything. You guys can have something small and adorable.
Yeah. The great thing about what we do is we'll go anywhere where social consumption is allowed. And anywhere, and that includes outside of Arizona. So there's a lot of states that have, there's about 12 total that have legalized consumption. And a big part of why I do Pause, if you get down into the real core of what it's about, beyond the core values that we emulate, it's really to ensure that consumption is as legal as possession. And I do feel that there's been a little bit of a missing link in the maturity of the industry where you can legally possess cannabis now in most places, but you can't legally consume it.
Or you can't combust it. Or,
Yeah. And if you don't have private property, if you're a renter, for example,
tourism.
Or you're a tourist, there's nowhere where you can legally consume that product. So
absolutely
I think in the life cycle of the cannabis plant, that part is very broken.
So
and we need some political action around that.
Absolutely. And I think I'm voting for you. Real quick, we'll go over us. We have another podcast, I believe, this coming up next Sunday. There's other events going on. We got to see what's going on. There's a lot of moving parts this week. And And anything else that you have some stuff come? Maybe
Yeah, you
I don't.
have
I
some
Just
awesome
real
stuff
quick,
coming up.
if we can
yeah,
make
I
it
was about
real
to say,
quick.
I just have the Culture Cup coming up this coming weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. And I am going to be doing a podcast and hopefully just doing this week coming up. I'm gonna try to just get a panel of people to kind of discuss a little bit more heavy into the mental health side of things. And
There you go.
I'm kind
I
of
like it.
tired of being told to not talk about it. So I want to give people that want to talk about mental health and all of that stuff the ability to have that and not really have a time limit on that. So
yeah,
absolutely, that's dope. I like it.
I like it a lot.
Yep. And so be good, be clean, as always, be safe.
be the danger.
Be vigilant. Tap in, smoke up, trip out. Thank you very much. Love y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Trying to stay coherent.